This is a Headgum original.
Jake and Amir, two Jews that you can't forget. In 2010, they were big on the internet. But then 3 failed pilots, 2 rejected movie scripts. One last-ditch effort to try and stop their career from going to shit. Another podcast. Each app different from the last. It's the Swiss Army knife of shows. Meet your 2 pathetic hosts.
That was really, really pornographic and in poor taste.
Oh, I'm not allowed. Yeah. I'm not allowed to have a new catchphrase at 39. I can't opt into that.
Yeah.
So it's but in a high-pitched, high energy, slightly sexual, yes, but it's not about that. It's not about
slightly.
That. If other people find it sexual, that's on them. And if other people are turned on by the way I say it, that's their prerogative. I'm just living my best damn life. I'm just trying out a new catchphrase that is sweeping the nation, that is sticking like glue to society.
And yeah, it sounds like a tiny woman coming. And so does a lot of catchphrases.
It might be a little sexual, but it sure does stick in your head, doesn't it?
It's sort of like Mr. Hanky the Christmas poo.
Heidi, is this a Heidi ho?
Heidi ho.
Heidi ho.
Yeah.
God, was there anything funnier than Mr. Hanky in his heyday?
He had it all. He was a shit, and he was for the Christmas.
Actually, speaking of poop, I had an interesting poop fiasco this morning when I was walking my dog.
Any relation to Lupe Fiasco?
Yes, indeed. Indeed, because I was listening to Lupe Fiasco on my iPod Nano.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what was the Poop Fiasco?
So I was walking down the street. I you have the little dog poop bag rolls. I was starting a new roll, and I believe since they're held together by a sticker, when I peeled the sticker off and slid it through the little baggie dispenser, I must have compromised the integrity of the bag, because Dingo let loose a big honking shit, a very large poop, and I picked it up in the bag, did the flip to flip it out, and it just all fell directly into my hand. Through the bag, just all in my hand.
So what do you do at that point?
I am 2 blocks from my house. My right hand is covered in dog shit. I got out a new bag with my left hand, picked up the shit and the split
And is he ready
bag.
to keep walking? Because he doesn't know or care what's going on.
Yeah, but he's not like pulling at the leash or anything. He's fascinated by my struggle. He knows this is the drill. I pick up the poop afterwards. It's taking a little longer than usual, but he's pretty patient. But I just kind of hold my right hand outstretched, and I walk directly home. Of course, he does still need to piss. He stops.
So I open my other hand.
It's not far off.
Because at this point, I'm sort of a toilet for Dingo.
He does. Sometimes he lifts the legs. Sometimes he does like a little squat thing. And for some reason today, I think maybe because everything was just off, he sort of tried to split the difference, and he half squatted and just pissed directly onto his front paw, I guess out of solidarity. So then I come home, Dingo's paw's covered in piss, my hand is covered in shit. I had to kind of like tie him up by the door so I could wash my hands, then go back, clean the piss off of him.
Where did you throw away the original shit? You put it into a new bag.
Yes.
But your hand, was it, what would you say the consistency of the shit was on a scale of hard as a rock to pure soft serve all the way to liquid?
It was thankfully decently hard. I think it was probably a 7. So it did all, and I kind of like instinctively, because it's like falling, I guess, I didn't like try to catch it. Like as soon as I realized it was shit, I moved my hand. but it got pretty. I looked at the hand and it was brown. There were 3 of my fingers had brown stains on them.
But just a hand wash, not a full shower.
Not a full shower, but it did take a scrub.
dirty.
Like there was actual fecal matter on the hand. It wasn't like I had to actually get the shit off of the skin, then wash, wash again.
Sniffed after the wash of hands. You're like, this is probably good enough.
Yeah, I didn't really sniff intimately, but I smelled soap pretty severely, so I felt like they were pretty clean. And I washed it thrice actually, because I did twice for the shit and then once post piss clean. So 3 really good hand washes.
Would you have eaten an apple right then and there, or were you still needing to give it a little bit of distance before, let's say, eating a barbecue chicken wing and...
Yeah, licking my fingers. I probably would have wanted some distance, I think. Yeah. I would have maybe had an apple. I could imagine eating something and kind of favoring my left hand though.
Yeah, like a pear or something.
Yeah. I cooked eggs after that.
Oh, interesting.
And I cracked them with my right hand.
I was going to say I have an egg cracking update.
Really?
Did you get the video I sent you?
I got it. I was on vacation, so I didn't play it. I got it and I didn't.
You saw a video and you were just like, I'll watch it later?
I saw a pan and I was like, oh, I bet this is an egg thing. We'll watch it.
Curious as to how I figured out what to do.
Let me see what day you sent it to me, because it was right in the middle of my vacation.
It was on your birthday, yeah.
Was it on my birthday? It was, okay. It looks like it was on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a Saturday morning egg.
Yeah. So actually that was the day that I left vacation. I should have, then I think it was more about it being a travel day, so I wouldn't take it personally.
So I saw an online video of sorts where somebody said you can just crack an egg by dropping it into the pan and it does a perfect split in half. So I'm like, okay, let me skeptically try that out.
Right.
And I drop the egg. Yeah, and it cracks right open, split down the middle, and then you go like this, and there's no shell. There's no shell remnants.
That was what I told you
so
about.
I think that's my
dropping
new
it on the plate. It's the same notion.
But no, you're thrusting and hitting and cracking and opening. I'm dropping it into the pan.
Yeah,
dropping
It's
it
not
onto the
pan.
pan.
I said it was dropping it onto the counter.
Drop it onto the counter, but then the egg gets onto the counter.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not good.
It's not that it's not good. You get a little egg on the counter. But yeah.
A little egg goes a long way.
Yeah.
Drop the egg in the pan, lift it up, and you can almost do the single-handed one, because at that point it's a clean break all the way through, right down the middle.
So this is, I guess I'll play the video now.
Please. And narrate as you go.
It's got to, it looks like it's got to download. It's really a large file. Okay.
Yeah, I shot it in 4K. 4K.
Nice. Wow, you're not concerned. It is. Oh, you're doing it one-handed. Really impressive. So that is perfect. Oh, you said perfect at the end.
That's an egg cut in half, and gravity did most of the work.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. You're not concerned about burning your hand because it is a hot pan that you're dropping it into.
What?
You know that it's hot. I mean, it's cooking an egg.
I severely burnt my hand.
Charred.
I had no idea from what.
I thought I sliced it on the
egg is
shell.
big enough. I pick it up in the middle, and I'm hoping that, And honestly, I think the goal to making good eggs is to not make the pan super hot. Then, it doesn't get burnt on the outside and still kind of runny in the middle.
And another fascinating element, because I thought you kind of did like a scramble situation, but it looks like do you often do a fried egg? That's what you're doing? You're not like...
It begins as fried, and as I mix it in the pan, and it is non-stick, it becomes by default a scrambled.
It's a light scramble. It's more of a broken egg. It's a fried egg with a broken yolk, really. Do you concern yourself with microplastics with the non-stick? Are you fine with that?
I'm 100% fine with microplastic. In fact, I prefer macroplastics. I ate a garbage bag.
Yeah. Instead of a fork, I use a water bottle to shove the egg in my mouth.
Instead of bacon, I'll slice a cup, a red Solo cup, and I'll put it in the pan and let it
For dinner tonight, I'm having a Poland Spring.
Bottle.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll eat any. I'm not worried about those
Mhm.
little diseases are on the rise. We don't know
Yeah.
why.
Right.
Do you ever wonder why more people are getting sick and ill than they were 100 years ago? Like, that's not for me to figure out.
Yeah. Okay. So you're just going to consume the Teflon, and that's fine.
Actually, I've been having a hard time finding a nonstick pan. I'm glad this one is actually working. I don't even know if it is, what it is, how it looks, but it feels a little bit different than the usual. Maybe it isn't even Teflon. Maybe we've graduated past it, but it kind of works.
Maybe the plastics have gotten so micro that you can't even see
That's
them.
right. Yes, exactly. So thin and small, these microplastics. Okay, this is not If I Were You. What's the other one called?
Our podcast.
Yeah. Wait. Give me a second. Give me a second. Seconds.
That's good. Jake and Amir
seconds.
Seconds. It's our second podcast.
A healthy portion of segments coming right at you.
Yes.
It's a sort of Swiss Army knife of shows.
Right. Everybody heard the
two
theme
pathetic
song.
hosts.
Right.
Yeah. So what segment should we start with today? We've already been talking about shit. We've been talking about plastic. I feel like we need a quick one because we're already pretty deep in it.
Right. We're really deep.
Yeah.
We could. Do you want to preview our other podcast that you and I are going to start?
Oh yeah. Well, we could talk about actually doing it because I'm still on the fence. But you want to do a Tottenham Hotspur podcast?
That's right. That is right.
I came up with a great name for it. That's honestly the only reason I want to do it at this point.
Interesting. Let's hear it. What's the name?
The Coys Boys.
Yeah.
Because it sort of combines us, the Coy Boys, with that catchphrase or whatever.
I mean, it's
tagline
perfect.
That they use.
Game over. The Coys
Come
Boys.
on, you Spurs. Yeah.
Come on, you Spurs.
Right. And so this would be a weekly podcast where I watch the games with you and talk about it?
Yes, you will be watching every single game. This is my dream podcast because I do this anyway. I'm watching all the games. I talk about all the games kind of ad nauseum. I watch the game.
Yeah.
I often watch as long as we do well, I then watch the highlights. Then I look at all of the players' Instagrams.
To you, it's a game. For me, it's like always been a match. That's what I call it as a football fan. But for you, it's like
I call it a fixture.
Is that what you call it?
I call it a fixture. You call it a match? I call it a fixture.
Well, it's a fixture. It's a fixture in my life.
Yeah.
But it's a match when I watch it.
Tell me what you think about the table. What do you think about the table right now?
This table?
Yeah.
The table?
That you're sitting at?
It's it's normal. What do you want me to say?
So yeah, we'll watch every single Tottenham game, match, fixture.
Yeah.
And then you and I will discuss how we think it went, what kind of changes Ange should be making. You know, the coach is named Ange Postecoglou.
That's a terrible name.
Big Ange Postecoglou.
Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, I'll never know how to pronounce it, but now it's really second nature.
I mean, he has to get the fuck out of there. We can't have that in our fucking
No,
system,
he's the coach. It's the Big Ange's
really
system is the one that we want.
Yeah.
He is. He has his
flying up.
He's playing the swashbuckling. Dare is to do. That's the Coy's slogan. So we're finally daring. We are finally doing. The fans are chanting, "We've got our Spurs back," and we got one
What's
of the
offsides?
Hold on. What is offsides? It's when you're ahead of the last defender and the ball is on that half.
I feel like they got to get rid of that rule. Like that'll open up the field so much more. If I'm cherry picking, that should be allowed.
I think offsides. Well, we can talk about this on the Coys Boys, but a big issue is the video assistant referee, which is kind of like frame fucking the offsides.
His pinky was ahead of his fucking foot.
Right.
It's like that's not really a competitive advantage.
They'll take 7 minutes out of the match to kind of be like, look at drawing the lines, and it's still not even perfect, and they still get it wrong. So it kind of just like is awful. Everybody, I think, almost universally hates it, but everybody's afraid to get rid of it because the last thing you want
offsides is awful.
Yeah. I think offsides, it should be up to the linesman. Yes, we'll take listener questions. People can talk to us about their favorite teams. The Spurs will play every single team twice, so everyone's favorite team will be covered.
Should be worth half.
Mm-hmm.
You get a penalty, you make a kick. That's a lot less impressive than like a goal in action.
Well, a penalty
you should have 2 of those for every
penalty
goal
is
in
given
action.
when a goal scoring opportunity is taken away.
Kind of. It's like, oh, I slid tackle and I kicked your shin by accident. You weren't necessarily going to score a goal, but now you have like an 80% chance to do it.
Yeah.
And then I do an insane goal and actually get a goal, and now it's a tie.
Mm-hmm.
No, what I did was better. I outplayed you. You got lucky. It's like if a basketball free throw was worth 23 points.
Right.
We're giving too much credence to these
I see the
kind of easy things. Or move it back to the point where it's like a 20% chance.
Yeah, but I think the beauty of football is that it's so simple. You don't really want to complicate it by being like, oh, this penalty is going to be worth half because
half.
I don't
half.
I feel like the show
you already have halves in the match.
Yeah, you do have.
It's already the first half.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, points are points. A goal is a goal, and I don't know. They've been playing since the 1800s, so I feel like they're probably not going to change anything for you.
But that's the problem.
Now.
They're not thinking about innovating because they've been playing.
Well, they innovated
so
with VAR, and it's gotten worse. I think it's probably better to just leave it as it is, and just but the replay is really fucked. I mean, replays I think have fucked up most sports. Really, can you think of any sports that have gotten better because of replays? And the challenges, it's just not fun
because it ends up being subjective anyway. You're just staring at it on a closer lens, and then it ruins the flow of the game.
Yeah, and then fans of both teams are like pointing to different parts of the video, being like, "This is allowed. This is not allowed."
If you look at slow it down frame by frame, he beat the out by touching the bag a millisecond earlier. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it's like it would be a lot more fun. Like Don't give baseball a pitch clock, but then take 5 minutes for a challenge. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can get rid of that umpire because I don't know what he can see from behind the catcher anyway. How can he tell like how low it is? It's like, that was I think low,
right?
But I can't really see the catcher's in the way.
AI really could replace the home plate umpire. And
yes,
that should not really be happening. But this is all stuff that we'll cover on the Coys Boys. We'll be talking Tottenham, but mostly talking Tottenham, and talking a little sports. But I'd really like to keep it
completely new podcast.
Yeah.
So we'd have this podcast and also a soccer podcast.
Yeah,
that seems like a lot of podcasting.
It's not that much podcast. Because we're both already going to watch the Tottenham game. That's a foregone conclusion.
Well, sometimes they're on at like 6 a.m. on Saturdays.
So you'll watch the replay. They replay them. They're on Peacock. It's not really an issue.
I don't have Peacock.
I'll give you my.
I don't have Peacock.
I'll give you my login. You don't have it. You don't have the NBC suite. You don't have NBC streaming. I really think
I have NBC.com because I have cable.
Okay,
but I don't have the cock.
I kind of feel like if you have cable, then you have access to Peacock.
Yeah, I can DVR it.
Yeah. This is all stuff we'll cover on the Coys Boys.
How to 45 minutes on how I watch the game. I have it on my iPad.
But, a lot of people are thinking about getting into the Premier League because it's a lot of fun. It's a great sport to watch. Sports, like I've been saying, they've really gotten significantly worse with all of the commercial breaks, et cetera, et cetera. And even though VAR is not perfect, football is 45 minutes plus the stoppage time for injuries, but they never cut away. They're not going to a commercial. So it's a lot more enjoyable to watch.
And that's why it's not popular in America. I watch the games for the ads. I want to make sure that the owners are making bank.
Yeah. Don't worry about these. The owners of these teams are making bank. That's not a problem for them.
That's good.
If you're worried about the owners not being rich, don't be. Okay, the owners.
I want to know
rich.
which team is owned by the most Saudis, so I can sort of root accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who's the closest to being a trillionaire? Who's sort of in charge of this whole rigmarole?
I guess Man City or Newcastle are both kind of like sovereign wealth money.
That's not bad.
But the Spurs are the Jewish team in England, so we kind of have that going for us.
That's true. All right, I guess we'll discuss on the pod. We had a Premier League pod on our Patreon for a little bit.
And that was the impetus for me falling in love with Tottenham. And now here I am.
Yeah.
I'm fully Koi's.
So it did work in that regard. All right. We'll give it a shot, I guess.
First
When's
game
the
is on
first
Monday.
match?
It's on Monday.
A week from today.
Yeah.
AKA the day this episode comes out.
Right. This episode comes out on their season opener against Leicester City. So, and that game is at 3 p.m. That's a noon game for you. 3 p.m. for me. So we'll watch that.
Okay.
We'll record right afterwards. And we'll.
So if all goes well, you guys could, in theory, hear a Premier League Koi's Boys podcast.
Yeah.
That's if we get our shit together.
Right. It'll come. Yeah.
Which I'll give like a 40% chance.
40. Okay, fine.
All right. Let's take a break. Come back. And I got some poetry for you.
Yes.
It's the return of Poetry or Noetry. We're back. Thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring this episode of our show.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Finding unwanted subscriptions and letting Rocket Money cancel them. What a great way to save cash.
It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling to just clean up shop.
Yes. Most Americans think they spend about $62 per month on subscriptions.
Wrong.
But the real number is closer to $300.
Wow, everybody.
You're probably wasting thousands of dollars a year, half of which you've probably forgotten about. Thankfully, you can start using Rocket Money, and they find a bunch of subscriptions and help you just cancel them, get them off your books going forward forever.
Yeah, if you don't think you have the time, you can actually just press a button and Rocket Money will cancel everything for you.
That's right. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings.
Boom.
With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of my expenses. And you can do the same. You just go to rocketmoney.com/segments.
Segments.
That's right. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel those unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/segments.
Segments.
Thank you, Rocket Money.
Thanks.
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode of our show.
That's right.
Jake, I don't know if your schedule has ever been packed with like activities, work projects, family obligations.
For sure.
And it just feels overwhelming at times, I want to say.
That can happen for some.
Of course. So if you're feeling like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever.
That's true.
Yeah, feeling overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, depressed. These are kind of normal feelings for a modern person like yourself.
Yeah.
And the best way to deal with those emotions is to speak to a professionally licensed therapist. And the best way to find that is by giving BetterHelp a try.
Exactly. You got to take care of yourself, fam.
Yeah. I use therapy and I find it very helpful. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, just go to betterhelp.com/segments today. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and affordable. You fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist.
Easy.
And you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
Whoa, beautiful.
So don't skip that therapy day. Visit betterhelp.com/segments. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/segments.
Segments.
And they got some low prices. And if you sign up today, you can get 10% off your first month.
Right on.
So that's even more affordable. You don't have to deal with those awkward waiting room interactions or being in the same room as someone. It's entirely online. And again, that's just betterhelp.com/segments for 10% off your first month.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, BetterHelp.
Right.
Losers.
And we're returned.
Yes, we are.
It's been a while because I had to replenish my creative coffer.
But now the juices are flowing.
You can't bang out a new poem every week. Like, nobody's that prolific. I have to wait until my vocabulary resets itself.
I actually tried something in July where I was writing a poem every day.
And were any of them good enough to share on this podcast?
Oh, no, they're personal, deeply personal poems. They're not for consumption.
Let's choose one at random. Let's say the July 1st, your first poem that you wrote.
Yeah.
Potentially most personal and
right.
raw
The day that I was
had.
overcome with emotion, that I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a poem.
I have to do this.
I'm going to write this
day.
and I'll do this every day. I didn't.
Did you make it every day?
No. But I probably between July and now, I think I wrote like 7 or 8 poems.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I did like 3 days in a row. Then it was sort of a once a week thing. And once a week feels a lot
Yes.
better than every day. Every day is really hard because you end up just kind of being like, I think I'm forcing it. I think I'm
Let me
forcing.
fart out a limerick. It's 11:40.
All right. Anyway, let's hear yours.
Okay, so these are, I got 4 instead of the usual 3.
What? Wait a second. Whoa, you're moving the goalposts on me, bud. What are you talking about? You can't give me 4 poems.
I'm giving you 4, and they're pretty. Some of them are kind of like completely new, unpoem likes, but let's see how it goes.
Well, all right, fine. But this is obviously kind of bunk because it's supposed to be 3. Now you're having me choose.
It's supposed to be 3. But you kept getting it right, so now I thought I'd muddy the water a little bit.
I see. All right, let's hear it.
Okay. Okay. This first one is called Ella Telefino.
Nice. It's not you, but go ahead.
Once there was an elephant who tried to use the telephant. No, I mean an elephone who tried to use the telephone. Dear me, I'm not certain quite that even now I've got it right. However it was, he got his trunk entangled in the telefunk. The more he tried to get it free, the louder buzzed the telefee. I fear I'd better drop this song of Elefop and Telefong.
It's not for me, but I think it was wildly creative. It was fun. That feels like a poem written by a poet who is like, it was like a good actor who's like, I'm going to star in a rom-com. That's what it felt like. Somebody just flexing a muscle that they don't often use. That's my gut take. Let's move on.
Jesus in Jacksonville.
Okay, this could be you.
Do you think Jesus was in Jacksonville? Did he celebrate at Melting Pot and bowl with Willie Dennis? Did Jesus ever shop at Dillard's or beat the heat in Township Square? Did he score a bingo at Arlington's or cash his checks at the Winn-Dixie Docu-Teller? Do you think Jesus was at Palestine Park? Did he get high with skaters, beats, and punks? Or did he end up like Von Wiedeking and proselytize with Ginsburg? Don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke. It's a $9 billion capitalist communist joke.
Okay. All right. I don't necessarily like it, but I don't think it was you now.
Wood.
Wood?
Wood.
WOOD?
Correct.
All right.
We age in darkness like wood and watch our phantoms change. They're clothes of shingles and boards for a purpose that can only be described as wood. You see what I mean by different kinds of poems here?
Yeah. Very cryptic. I do like this kind of poetry. I think if you had read all 3 of these, and
there is one more.
Yeah, I know. So if you'd read these 3, I would be pretty confused. I think I'd guess wood, but I feel like this last poem will be you. So let's hear it.
This one's called Shopping at Erewhon with the Boys. No.
Marty and Cohen took me a shopping.
There's no way this is a real one. Actually, this is not too dissimilar from that joke. It's called wallpapering.
Oh, wow.
As you know.
Yeah.
We've talked ad nauseum about my wallpaper fiascos.
Mm-hmm.
My parents argued over wallpaper. Would stripes make the room look larger? He would measure, cut, and paste. She'd swipe the flaws out with her brush. Once it was properly hung, doubt would set in. Would the floral have been a better choice? Then it would grow until she was certain it had to go. Divorce terrified me as a child. I didn't know what led to it, but I had my suspicions. The stripes came down.
God. That last poem really does nothing for me. And that's why I would think it's you. But there's this
Ella Telefino. Once they're from the top.
It's like I feel like this last one should be you, but with the wallpapering that you did recently, and I don't think you'd write about your parents.
In a way that's like, that's why I did write about my parents, or like even in that context.
Did you go directly at my doubt? You're like, oh, he doesn't think I'm dumb enough to like write a poem called Wallpapering. But then I'm like, are you double faking me? But could you be double faking me and doing something with your parents, which would really trip me up? Let me hear Wood again.
Let's see Paul Allen's poem. Okay, Wood.
Yeah.
Wood is the most like the poems we have been doing.
Right.
A classic capital P poem called Wood. We age in darkness like wood and watch our phantoms change. There are clothes of shingles and boards for a purpose that can only be described as wood.
So yeah, it doesn't mean anything. And it's not true. We age in darkness.
That's actually not correct. We don't. Not even metaphorically do we do that. I'm sorry.
Let's eliminate a poem.
Don't.
Let's eliminate a poem. We're going to eliminate the elephant telephone poem.
Ella Telefino?
Yeah, Ella Telefino.
By Laura Elizabeth Richards.
Okay.
Is a real poem. Ella Telefoni, I should say.
Ella Telefoni.
I remember that one because I learned it in elementary school.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
It's
Ella
nice poem.
Telefino.
It's whimsical. Yeah. I would like to read her other work. Does she only do children's poems, or is that kind of like a departure for her?
I thought it was super modern, but then when I searched it online, she was like born in 1850. So,
wow.
Yeah, I guess she was being funny back in the 19th century.
Wow. So it's
Shout
even
out to
funnier
Laura.
than I thought. What was the second one? I literally don't remember. Oh, the Jesus one?
Jesus in Jacksonville, yeah.
See, I kind of feel like that could be you as well, because it feels a little bit like you just went to the Jacksonville Wikipedia and pulled up a bunch of...
Spammed it.
Yeah. Why don't I'm going to eliminate wallpapering.
Eliminate wallpapering.
Yeah.
Wallpapering is a real poem.
Nice.
So you are down to Wood and Jesus in Jacksonville. Let me pull it up again. Yeah, wallpapering is a poem that I searched. I searched wallpaper on Poetry Foundation, and that was one of them. By, let me look. Sue Ellen Thompson.
Sue Ellen Thompson.
That's
It's not a bad poem, but I don't really feel like it says enough.
Okay.
Sorry, Sue. I'm sorry, Sue. It's just not for
But you
me.
still didn't think I wrote it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really think it was mostly the wallpaper of it and and the parents of it. I was like, I just don't think Amir could go there. It wasn't about the poem's quality. No offense to Sue. Okay. Can I hear Jesus in Jacksonville?
It's a long one.
Yeah.
But here it goes. Do you think Jesus was in Jacksonville? Did he celebrate at Melting Pot and bowl with Willie Dennis? Did Jesus ever shop at Dillard's or beat the Heat in Township Square? Did he score a bingo at Arlington's or cash his checks at the Winn-Dixie DocuTeller? Do you think Jesus was at Palestine Park? Did he get high with skaters, beats, and punks? Or did he end up like Von Wiedeking and proselytize with Ginsburg? Quote, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke. It's a $9 billion capitalist communist joke.
Okay.
Could not be more different than Wood.
Yeah. I feel like at the end of the day, do you think Jesus was in Jacksonville? Is just not a question that you would ask. And I come back to the fact that Wood is really a meaningless poem. So
I can't stress enough how little we age in the darkness.
Let's go ahead and guess that you wrote Wood.
Wood by Richard Brodigan.
No way.
We age in darkness like wood and watch our phantoms change their clothes of shingles and boards for a purpose that can only be described as wood. That's right. I wrote Jesus in Jacksonville. Do you think Jesus was in Jacksonville?
That's
you
good.
are right. I did just fucking spam Wikipedia and put in as many references as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And tried to write kind of an anti-poem, a poem that's not poetic at all. Just like, hey, do you think this happened? Do you think this happened? I wonder if he did this.
I got to be honest. I don't hate the poem. It ends with a very interesting like cadence. It's just a quote.
Yeah.
I also should have I almost said this out loud, but the word proselytize, I just think that's a word that you like. Man, that irks me.
I was gonna go on for like way too long and be like, and you're like, usually the really, really long ones are not it. But I'm running out of steam here, and the more I write, the more I can give away.
That was another reason though. I was like, this one, it seems too long for him. Because wood is short, it's cryptic. Like I mentioned, I feel like it's pretty meaningless. And yeah, that seemed like, it seemed a little bit all's ends well yet-y at the end of the day to me.
And I kind of cheated because I did take that last quote from a different poem.
Oh, that's a huge cheat. That's a huge cheat. Because
that's an Allen Ginsberg poem, so that's why I wrote, "Did he proselytize with Ginsberg?" Quote, and then I quoted.
Oh, and then you quote. I see. All right. Well, no, I thought. Yeah, I knew that it was a quote that wasn't your words, but I thought it was interesting that a poem would end with a quote, and you didn't steal that. You didn't steal that somebody else ended their poem with a quote. You just stole the quote.
That's right.
Right, so that's good.
There was actually there was a last stanza that I didn't read.
Let's hear it.
Because I sent it to Avital, and she's like, I would just end it with the quote.
Yeah.
So this is what I didn't read. It's impossible to say whether this would have tipped you off, but now you'll definitely say it would have. Here it is. Ready? I felt that he was there when we protested Mayor Burns, then ate Greek sandwiches at Christo's. I thought he preached at Bishop Kenny and taught at Mater Dei, but I know Jesus was in Jacksonville because he told me he was there.
Ooh, I like that. I think if anything, that would have made me really commit to wood.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I should have kept it in.
I thought, that really wraps it up nicely. I think that's a good poem, man.
Jesus was in Jacksonville.
Do you think between this and what he saw,
well,
are we getting better?
You didn't read the ones that you wrote every day, so I can't really say.
Well, I think I'm I established myself as a poet when I wrote What He Saw. That was a really great poem. And it got you, and it got you bad, and it got me good.
What seesaw.
And now, do you think Jesus was in Jacksonville, or is it just called Jesus?
No, just Jesus in Jacksonville.
Jesus in Jacksonville. I think that's kind of your best work. We're getting to the point where we could put together a book of poems.
Interesting. So let's scrap the fucking soccer podcast. Like, that's just gonna waste our time on the path that we want to take towards being literary published poets.
Yeah, literary giants. Titans of the industry. I mean, what poet isn't rich as fuck?
Laura E. Richards was a billionaire. She owns Aston Villa.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. How dope is that? She wrote Ella Telephony and then fucked around and bought Brighton Hove Albion.
Nice, dude. You're getting into the football. Do you have a team that you would like? I mean, you'll end up loving Tottenham. You'll fall in love with Tottenham. But like, is there a team that they would play?
But what if they're bad?
They might be. I think that no matter what, they're gonna play with heart. Their games last year, even the ones that we lost, were always very, very exciting. They were the neutrals team to watch because they were always high scoring games.
Who's the
not always, but yeah.
Who's the first match against?
Leicester.
Oh yeah, you said that.
Newly promoted Leicester.
Okay. All right. I'll watch one match. What's the worst that could happen?
Yes, dude.
An earthquake? We already had one of those today.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take another break, come back, and do one more segment.
Woo!
Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode of our show.
Hey-oh, Squarespace.
The best way to build a website. Jake, you've used it.
Mm-hmm. Many times over. Many, many times over.
If Jake can build a professional-looking website, then you can too. Trust me, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I'm honestly not smart. I am not smart at all. I'm not the brightest tool in the shed. What? Or the sharpest light in the bunch. What? This guy, he doesn't even get these fucking metaphors. He's so fucking stupid, but he's also kind of smart because he was able to come up with two of them to interchange on the fly. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
How do we square that circle, bud? I don't know.
How do we square that space?
Nice.
So if you're thinking about buying a website, a domain, you can even purchase a domain name through Squarespace. For example, Jake, what's still available?
Quiet, bud.
.com?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Quietbud.com.
That's a lot better than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is zamzaniel.com.
That's not bad either. There's actually two pretty good ones.
Right?
Zamzaniel?
Yeah, two really good ones.
Yeah.
Right? Available right underneath your nose. And I bet they won't last long, so get on it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Just go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/segments to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Right.
Simple drag and drop technology can create beautiful designs instantly. You can create a portfolio. You can buy a website for someone else. You can even do an online store. They have AI and SEO tools. They have everything you need to create an
Quietbud.com.
Again, that's squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/segments to save 10% off your first purchase of that website or domain.
Quietbud.com.
Nice. Thank you, Squarespace.
Assholes.
And we're back.
Hey.
We're here with Jake and me, the author of Jesus in Jacksonville,
Great
the
poem.
#1 poem that's sweeping America.
Remember that?
No. Here's a game we played the other way around about a month or two ago, in which you asked ChatGPT to come up with Amir Blumenfeld trivia, and I tried to play it.
Yeah. I believe you did pretty well.
I did pretty well for AI that was consistently giving you incorrect answers.
That's right. Yeah, because I guess we're not famous enough for it to know anything about
just
us.
Guessing and hoping that nobody cares. I asked ChatGPT, can you give me 10 trivia questions about Jake Hurwitz, multiple choice ideally, and let me know what the correct answer is. Spit it out in 2 seconds.
Yeah, of course.
Then I said, give me 10 more difficult true or false Jake Hurwitz themed questions. Boom. Done instantly.
Great. And you can tell.
And some of them are right, and some of them are not right at all.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Here's an easy one.
What am I playing for?
You're playing for anonymity. If you get 10 in a row correctly, no one will ever know who you are. Ever again.
That's a threat.
Kind of cool, right?
What's Jake Hurwitz's new catchphrase?
Holy shit, it's that up to the minute. Here's an easy one just to start. What's the primary genre of Jake and Amir? A, horror, B, drama, C, comedy, or D, documentary?
Let's go ahead and say comedy.
That's correct.
Great.
Okay, but here's when it starts getting a little more
Inaccurate?
questionable.
All right.
What is Jake Hurwitz's role in the Jake and Amir series? A, writer, B, actor, C, director, or D, all of the above?
Oh. Well, it should be D, all of the above, but I'm guessing that it's not because you said it was questionable. I guess it'll credit me with actor.
I'm sorry, it was D, all of the above. I led you astray.
Yes, you did. Okay, great. You're an asshole. You're a liar. You're a cheat. You added 4 poems. This obviously you're not playing by the rules anymore.
What is Jake Hurwitz's educational background? A, Harvard, B, Yale, C, UPenn, or D, New York University?
Okay, so none of them are accurate, but I do often lie about going to Yale. So let's say Yale.
The answer is A, Harvard University.
Of course.
I don't know. We're deep in the algorithm of ChatGPT. It scraped that little nugget, but yeah, maybe because we performed there once and there was like, that's close enough, good enough.
That's true. Okay, good for me. We did get to join, what club did we join? Oh, the Lampoon. We got inducted to the Lampoon. So maybe that was it. Maybe that's it. It's on my Wikipedia or something.
Did we ever talk about joining the Harvard Lampoon? I remember like when it happened, it was kind of secretive, so maybe we didn't.
I feel like we did. I think we told the story. People should let us know, because if we didn't, then we should tell the story, because it was very funny.
It was weird.
Yeah. We got low-key hazed for an hour and a half. And they also hazed Marty, because I guess they had us over.
I'm just here to drive them to the show.
Yeah,
you don't have to put me on my knees and yell riddles at
They
me.
had us over, and then we moved into another room, and they're all wearing like bird masks or something. And Marty is like, I don't think I should be here. And they're like, no, you should. So Marty's been inducted as well.
It was like that SNL sketch where Chris Farley's accidentally on a Japanese game show. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what's
I was
going
just sitting
on.
in
I
the
just asked
audience.
the concierge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good story. Let us know if we have told it before, because we can tell it as best as we can recall again.
Yeah.
Before Jake and Amir, what was the name of the sketch comedy group Jake Hurwitz was a part of?
Okay. There's none.
A, the Harvard sailing team.
Oh.
B, Kids in the Hall. C, The Lonely Island. Or D, Saturday Night Live.
Oh my God. See, I think that when I did this for you, it also thought you were a member of the Lonely Island. So I'll choose C, the Lonely Island.
I'm sorry. The correct answer is Harvard sailing team. They just really think you went to
wow.
Harvard.
My association with Harvard is so deep. That's so weird, because it's a rival school to my real alma mater. Yale.
I guess. Shout out to Billy and Adam, who were actually part of the Harvard sailing team. All right. Then I said, enough this. Give me some true or false questions. Yeah. True or false, Jake Hurwitz was born in New Jersey.
I think it's false.
It's true. It's true.
No. What part?
Jake Hurwitz has won a Webby Award for his work on Jake and Amir.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
Correct. Jake Hurwitz and Amir Blumenfeld first met while working at a fast food restaurant.
Oh, false, but they probably think that it's McDonald's because it's featured so heavily. So I'll say true.
No, they said false. They met at college while working for College Humor.
Not true either, but okay.
Jake Hurwitz has a background in music and played in a band before focusing on comedy.
That's minorly true. I did used to play in a band.
True is correct.
They didn't know that, though. They didn't know about Wally J.
Jake Hurwitz once appeared as a guest on the WTF with Mark Maron podcast.
I wish. That's false.
False. That is correct. Jake Hurwitz directed a feature film called The Fourth Dimension.
I'm just going to guess true because I want it to be true.
Unfortunately, it is false. They're right about that one.
Damn.
And lastly, Jake Hurwitz has been involved with the writing for a television show, Adam Ruins Everything.
I think that they think that's true.
That's correct. You were in an episode.
I was in an episode. I think, was I in two?
And did you improvise?
I'm pretty sure I didn't. I don't think I had a very big role. It wasn't necessarily.
That's correct.
Yeah, there wasn't space to do that.
What was your episode of Adam Ruins Everything?
I think it was about. I want to say it was about plumbing or something like that. Toilets. I was just playing a guy on a date with Haley Marie Norman, who I met there and then ended up casting on Lonely and Horny.
So it
but
didn't work out best for everybody.
Yeah, I think this like date thing was like we're on a date. She gets locked in the bathroom, and then Adam teaches her about plumbing, or maybe it's the other way around. And I don't know.
She teaches Adam about plumbing.
No, it might have been me that got locked in the bathroom and somebody taught me about plumbing. I literally have no idea.
We should watch that for our Patreon.
It's a great call.
Jake and Amir watch. Jake learns about plumbing and Adam ruins everything.
Or Jake waits in a bar while Haley learns about plumbing on Adam ruins everything. It was such a small role.
Hey, there are no small roles. You know that.
Yeah, this one was. This was the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah, there are no small roles except for Jake Hurwitz's role in Adam Ruins Everything.
Yeah.
All right. Pretty good AI trivia. You know, we're not there yet, but we're definitely trending closer to there.
I mean, I think it's going to solve cancer. I really do. The thing knew I was on Harvard's sailing team. How do you explain that?
I wonder what a Jesus in Jacksonville poem ChatGPT could write.
See, that's art that you can't get from a computer unless the computer is you.
Have we done ChatGPT poems versus us?
I think we did. Yeah, it was not all ChatGPT poems. I think I like
one of the fake ones.
Yeah, one of the fake ones was I think it was like I wrote one, there was a ChatGPT one and a real one. And unfortunately, I had asked the ChatGPT to write in the style of Mary Oliver, and it just name checked Mary Oliver in the poem. Like as I walk through the same woods that Mary Oliver did, and I didn't clock it until I was
That's
reading
a classic Mary Oliver move, is to mention herself.
Yeah, exactly.
In third person.
Mo, she's
Vintage
goated.
Oliver.
She's absolutely goated.
All right, that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it.
Always.
If you want more, on our Patreon is Jake and Amir Watch, and potentially a new podcast called The Coys Boys, a limited run English Premier League show about soccer, life, and love.
It'll only be 40 to 60 episodes this year.
But that's it's still a lot. 60 is more than one a week.
Well, yeah, because they're in the Europa tournament, and then also you have to think about the domestic cups. We're gonna obviously watch their Carabao Cup games and their FA Cup games, especially if the Carabao. I care about the Carabao.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you for letting us know what segments we should do next, including whether or not we should talk about the fateful night we got hazed by the Harvard Lampoon, which I think makes us part of the Harvard Lampoon now.
Yeah, us and Jimmy Fallon forever.
All right, sweet. See you guys next week. Ciao.
That was a Headgum original.